Late last year, there was a Atheist Bus campaign started by Simon Fisher, and he set up a donation system and collected over $20,000 to support a campaign which would put atheist messages on the sides of buses in Auckland and around the rest of the country. Basically what this message said was, on the buses, was that there's probably no God, and we should therefore relax and enjoy our life. Before he started collecting these funds, he approached New Zealand Bus, which is the operator of most of the buses in New Zealand, and asked if the advertising material that we were proposing was acceptable to them, and provisionally they said yes, that was fine, there was nothing wrong with it. In the process of collecting the $20,000, there were some TV appearances and some publicity around the whole project.
Well, an atheist group plans to raise $10,000 to run a controversial slogan on the side of New Zealand buses. The adverts, which read, "There's probably no God, now stop worrying and enjoy your life," created a storm when they ran on British buses earlier this year. The campaign was launched here yesterday and has already raised more than $1,000.
Well, to explain all this, we're joined in our Wellington studio by New Zealand Atheist Bus Campaign spokesperson Simon Fisher. Good morning, Simon.
Good morning.
What do you hope to achieve?
Well, we just basically want to promote the idea of atheism, obviously, and secular humanist values in New Zealand society. And we're following on from the success of the UK campaign and promoting those.
And it turned out that there were a number of objections made to New Zealand Bus, saying that basically we shouldn't be able to advertise on the sides of buses, and you know that I think, but we're not completely sure that. There were threats of boycotts and other action. There were also some complaints from staff, it would appear. Okay, so as a result of this, NZ Bus has made a decision that the advert is controversial. In other words, that there are people complaining about it, specifically Christians, although I'm going to come to a minute about which Christians. And as a result, New Zealand Bus made a decision that they weren't going to run the ads after all.
A controversial atheist billboard set to go up on buses around the country has been blocked by the bus company. NZ Bus wouldn't be interviewed, but it says it has the right to decline advertising that may, in its perception, be considered controversial or divisive. Atheist campaign spokesman Simon Fisher joins us now with his reaction. Good morning, Simon.
Good morning.
That's fair enough, isn't it, for the bus company to make that decision?
It is. I mean, they have the right to make the decision that they want to deny the ads on controversy, but of course we have the right as well to complain and follow the legal process through of trying to find out why they're blocking the ads and what this means for society.
We'll talk about your...
Okay, so effectively what New Zealand Bus has done is has declined to take advertising from an atheist organisation, because it is an atheist organisation, because there are religious people in New Zealand who object to any atheist message, regardless of how mild it is.
Hi, Mr. Dawkins. I'd like to ask a question about the Atheist Bus ads. Recently, atheists in New Zealand raised over $20,000 for Atheist Bus ads, but the local bus company has refused ads after initially authorising those ads, and they've claimed that the reason they're doing it is because they've had complaints from Christian organisations and their own staff opposing these ads running. What's your opinion on whether these ads should run, and how should we act as a result of this?
Obviously, I think the ads should run. As I understand it, the slogan that these buses were going to have was the same as the one that we ran in England, which said, "There's probably no God, now stop worrying and enjoy your life." Probably is a nice weak word. I mean, it's not saying there's definitely no God. Contrast that with an advertisement which I wouldn't be in the least surprised to see on a bus, which is something like, "God is love," or Jesus saves. Now, I don't know whether those have ever appeared on buses, but I would think they probably have, and I would think that probably there were no complaints, and if there were complaints, I doubt if the bus company would take any notice. There's a kind of double standard. People will take note of offence one way, but not the other way. the message, there's probably no God, is an incredibly mild and gentle message. It's so tentative. It exactly carries the scientific spirit. We don't know, we suspect. Now argue about it, discuss it. Probably invites discussion. It invites argument. It invites people to get together and think for themselves. There were advertisements on American buses which gave offence because they said, it is something like, I won't get this right approximately, you can be good without God. How mild is that?
It's an underarm serve.
How could you possibly take offence at that? Yeah. Yet they do take offence. There is a double standard. If you say something even mildly opposing religion, then people get hysterical hurt and offence, and they sort of twitter with offence. Whereas if you go the other way, it's just accepted, it's just normal, that's what happens.